Hello, friends. Hope you are doing well. Today, I'll be talking about the most benefic, the most friendly planet, and that is Jupiter. Jupiter is considered to be the most natural benefic planet in our birth chart because it represents so many beautiful things and aspects of our life. Jupiter represents children, Jupiter represents marriage. In a female's chart, Jupiter represents her husband. Jupiter represents teacher, Jupiter represents guru, Jupiter represents wealth, Jupiter represents fortune. Jupiter is the significator of luck and fortune, of wealth. Jupiter is also about expansion. Jupiter represents or is the significator of our dharma. It depends on Jupiter's placement. Where is Jupiter placed? If Jupiter is placed well placed and is in a good dignity, a person can really be good person as a whole. His dharma will be good. He'll be spiritual. He will be religious. He'll be a master in religious texts. Jupiter also represents astrology. Jupiter represents good qualities, general good qualities. This is what Jupiter is all about. Because Jupiter represents so many things and Jupiter represents so many good things in life, hence, it is a very, very important planet and a very auspicious planet. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be auspicious for everyone. No, if it's a functional malefic in your chart and if it is not well placed in your chart, it can really create problem. Jupiter Mahadasha can be very, very difficult. So don't think that Jupiter will be good for in every chart. But generally speaking, Jupiter is a very good planet. Hence, for a planet where it is in a good dignity, it can really, really do well for that person. It can really help that person. Because Jupiter also has a lot of influence in your life because it is the largest planet. When you consider all other planets, Jupiter is the largest planet. Jupiter is also about knowledge. Jupiter is about, in your intelligence. I'm not talking about intellect here. I'm not talking about the outwardly projection of yourself, the analytical skills. Those are more to do with Mercury. Jupiter is about your inner intelligence, is about your inner soul, is about is about how you are as a person inwardly. That's what Jupiter is. Now coming to houses, Jupiter is a planet which does very well in the first house. Jupiter does well in the second house as well. Jupiter does well in the fourth house as well. In first house, Jupiter is gets the directional strength. So it's very good in the first house. Jupiter does well in the second house because second house is about your accumulated wealth and Jupiter is a significator of wealth. So Jupiter does well in the second house as well. Jupiter does well in the fourth house because in the Kala Purusha chart, in natural zodiac, fourth house is the sign ruled by Cancer. Or the sign that falls in the fourth house is that of Cancer, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And fourth house is again a dharma house, and it is about fourth house is a moksha house. It's a spiritual house. It's about peace of mind. It's about domestic happiness. That's what Jupiter represents. Jupiter represents happiness. Jupiter does well in the fifth house, again significant of the fifth house because fifth house is about children. Jupiter is very good in the ninth house as well. Ninth house is about luck, ninth house about fortune, ninth house is about about teachers and gurus. Hence Jupiter does well in ninth house. Jupiter, like any other planet, does well in the 11th house as well. So Jupiter does well in these houses. Jupiter is also pretty good in 7th and 12th house. 7th house is about relationships. So if a Jupiter is present in 7th house and in good dignity. It can bring a beautiful relationship with your wife or with partnership in a partnership. It will be a ethical relationship. It will be a relationship which can bring happiness. If Jupiter is in 12th house is the moksha house, the last house, the spiritual house, and Jupiter as a planet can make a person very, very spiritual. So Jupiter does well in the 12th house as well. The houses where Jupiter kind of struggles are third house, sixth house, to some extent the eighth house and the 10th house. Because this, generally speaking, these are more to do with materialistic side of the life. Not all these houses, but generally third house, sixth house, third house is about your writing, your creativity, your your courage and so on. Sixth house is about competition. Sixth house is about diseases. So of Jupiter in sixth house, which is not well placed and is not in a good dignity, can make a person have problem with the stomach area, and can make a person uh, overweight, because it's about expansion. Jupiter is not very comfortable in 10th house, because 10th house is a very materialistic house. It is about your profession, your professional life, how it be your life in in your profession and so on. So Jupiter is not a planet which believes on the materialistic side more, though it represents a lot of a thing, but uh, in totality it is a planet which is more to do with the spiritual side of life. So that's what Jupiter is. Now, it also depends on which sign Jupiter is placed. Jupiter is very, very comfortable in signs like Cancer and Leo and its own sign of Pisces and Sagittarius. It does really well there. It also does well in Mars sign, Aries and Scorpio. It is debilitated in Capricorn, and it struggles in Aquarius as well, and also in Venus ruled sign like Taurus and Libra. It doesn't do really well there. Even the Mercury sign like Virgo or Gemini, these are the sign where Jupiter is not very comfortable. Jupiter does really well when it is conjunct or is mutually aspected by Sun or a Moon or a Mars. It really does well. Mars is a great friend, Sun is a great friend of Jupiter. So Jupiter does really well with Mars and Sun, even with Moon. It's called as Gajakeshari Yoga if there is a mutual aspect or a conjunction between Jupiter and Moon in a good house. So Jupiter does well with Moon as well. Jupiter kind of struggles with Mercury and Venus, because Mercury is a very materialistic planet, so it kind of struggles with Mercury. It also kind of struggles with Venus as well. It does pretty okay with Saturn, because Saturn is about karma, Saturn is about duty, Saturn is about hard work. Jupiter is about dharma, Jupiter is about religion, Jupiter is about spirituality. So when Saturn and Jupiter combines, it can make a person very, very ethical, hardworking and ethical. Because it is ruled by, if in a natural zodiac, the ninth house is ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius, and the 10th house is ruled by Saturn, which is Capricorn, it can make a person, a combination of ninth and 10th house, dharma, karma, adhipatti, yoga. Also, Jupiter does well with Ketu as well. Ketu is a spiritual planet. Jupiter is a spiritual planet. So when two spiritual planets conjunct are or are aspecting, it's more to do with conjunct, because if it is aspecting, then Jupiter is with Rahu, and Jupiter doesn't do well with Rahu. But if it is in conjunct with Ketu, then it can make a person very spiritual. And if that conjunction is in the fourth house, eighth house, or 12th house, or ninth house, it can make a person extremely spiritual. Jupiter doesn't do well with Rahu. It's called as Guru Chandal Yoga. Jupiter is a beautiful planet, is Guru, right? Is a teacher. Whereas Rahu is that uh, fighting student, is that naughty student. So Jupiter's energy is all vested in taking care of Rahu. Hence, it's not able to do other things. So Jupiter generally is a great planet. Jupiter does really well. But if it's a bad planet or a malefic planet in your chart, then it can create a lot of problems. So for people for whom Jupiter is a functional malefic and is not in good dignity, they need to be careful in Jupiter Mahadasha. In all other cases, Jupiter can be a great planet, can be of great help. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please do share it. Kindly subscribe to my channel. Take care. Bye bye.